Alright, so I'm sleeping. Fucker. So I'm sleeping and I feel a breeze on my foot. And I'm trying to figure out where the draft is coming from. I turned my light on and I saw that my door had been opened a little bit. I figured, okay, maybe a gust of wind. Door being a generous term, it's just a few tarps. But I figure, okay, maybe a gust of wind came and blew it open a little bit. I stand up and I go to shut it. And out on my porch, I see there's a mess. As I walk closer to it, all I smell is hazelnut. So then I figure, well, that's my coffee creamer. How the fuck did that get there? So, go to see what the hell happened. And it got annihilated. That's 100% the pack rat. Dude, he's so fucking destructive. So while I was sleeping, the thing just ran off with my coffee creamer. And made a hell of a mess, too. And you're supposed to be guarding the shit for me, buddy. There's some ants going after it already.
So you would think, and by the way, these are the things that are going to affect whether our kids can play sports, whether they're in a classroom this fall, how many people can be inside a restaurant.
I don't care. I just got my cabin raided and slept through it. Now that I actually have some things growing in the garden, I've been waiting to do this. $5 well spent. Winter now. They say they don't bite. Yeah, I think it looks like it wants to bite me. I'm not gonna risk that. Ah! Get off of me! And I guess that long thing on its ass that looks like a stinger, that's really just to deposit eggs. See all the dead yeast at the bottom. And it stopped bubbling. It's ready to go. That's hard cider. Wow! Wow, that is good. That is really good. I got booze. That's good. Oh. That's booze. Good booze, too. That's a Southern Pacific rattlesnake. I'm gonna go up there and see what's up there in this. So let's do it. This may have been a stupid idea. Get the fuck off me. This is the only thing holding me up right now. I need to get down to the desert. And I need to go see my buddy. And I need to go to my hometown, see my other buddy. 5 or 6 months straight that I've been up here. I'll do the math later. But I've been living up here for a year and 7 months. But I've been up here for 5 or 6 months without stepping on an asphalt, without stepping on a sidewalk, without seeing anybody, without going to the store. I don't know if you... Yeah, you can see it. The pack rat fucked up one of my favorite shirts. My books got chewed up. 4 of them did. None that I really cared about. So I took all my books off the shelf and moved them into that backpack. Bringing my tent. I'm not even going to bring my sleeping bag just because it's so hot. And I'm going to go down to my hometown, hang out with my buddy, Zack. And I think I'm going to do that day after tomorrow. Or maybe next week. I don't know. I need to go down to the lower canyons and just see if they're overgrown. Check the bottlenecks and see how much the brush has grown and how much I'm going to have to knock down just to get out of here. Feed the hummingbirds one last time before I head out. Last time I used this tent was when I went down in January. And I see that it has become a stash spot for the mice. Hopefully they didn't chew it up in there. I can see they chewed the strap a bit. Now you better hold on for at least 4 days. Can you see what I'm going through? Whoa, those are pretty yellow flowers. Hey, there's actually a little bit of moisture in this creek. Damn, so much for going down that way. I don't know what other way I would go down at. Fuck. Hey, little buddy. Oh man, I missed you! Woo!
Damn, who's hitting me, dude? I got it, man.
Alright, you got it. Nice! First try.
See if I can get one.
Are you sure I can bring shotgun here in firearms?
No, because
No,
we're on
permit-
private property.
Private property?
Yeah,
Your place better.
my place would be way better.
I can bring it. Oh! You got it! Hell yeah, bro. Dude, that's cool. Ryan got that shit. Two. Yeah, I do too, buddy. You missed, you got to other chance. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Oh!
Yeah. Pretty bad day today. I only have 2 corn left. That's what happens when you're not here maintaining a presence every day. You don't move to the forest and pick a fight with nature the same way you don't move next to an airport and bitch about the airplanes. That's just a hard lesson learned. It's my fault more than anything else's. That if you're gonna grow anything, don't leave. Stay with it every day. You know, thank God that I'm not living off of it. Thank God that I'm not relying on it to survive. Thank God that I have food out here. Regardless of the fact that I came up here to no garden, I'm real glad to be home because the people are terrible. The amount of scowls that I got, and I was over it in a day. My buddy, gave me all kinds of cool stuff. One of the cool things he gave me was a new toothbrush. Thank you, Zack. I needed this, man. He also gave me some cool patches, a BB gun. We shot BB guns. I was only out there for a day. That's all I could take. Checking with the ranch properties. I got 2 jobs lined up in July, so that'll be cool. I'll get some honey and pickled quail eggs, and yeah, it just made me appreciate being up here a lot more. You think the bugs and shit and the rattlesnakes and all that are bad out in the forest and in the mountains, but then you go out there and you realize people are more venomous than any rattlesnake you could come across and more annoying than any bug you could swat away. I'm down to 1 corn now. I don't give a fuck. Too little, too late, obviously, since I have 1 corn left. Now, I don't have any cayenne pepper, but I got jalapenos. I got jalapenos. I really didn't want to waste any of my coffee, but if it would have saved me all that corn, it wouldn't have been a waste. The fucking thing even ate my baby oak tree that I had growing. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yes, I could have planted companion plants. Yes, I could have avoided this by not feeding them, but I will continue to feed them. Because they're my buddies and it gets lonely up here. Hard lesson learned. Shit happens. I don't even know how I got dirty, I think, from my fire this morning. That could have been last night. I didn't wash today.
Sunny. Highs around 110.
Yeah, you can tell it's a heat wave. Everyone's thirsty. You enjoy that, little buddy?
I can't wait to use my new language skills in the real world. Dos cervezas, por favor. California is now averaging 8,000 new cases a day, triple what it was just.
I don't care.
And hospitalizations, LA County officials are ramping up contact tracing efforts with more than 1,500 people reaching out to residents who test positive for COVID-19.
I don't care.
922. Orangutans. Playful and majestic.
I'm going to bed.
Excessive heat warning. Dangerously hot conditions expected. Extreme heat will significantly increase the potential for heat-related illnesses, particularly for those working or participating in outdoor activities. Forecast high temperatures include 109 to 114 degrees.
Oh my. Your nose is wet. Oh, is that good water? That's an alligator lizard. You're one of the more prehistoric looking lizards. You guys go through that water fast. Tell me where you're gonna go with that.
Low tonight, 69.
Yeah.
High Thursday, 98. Low Thursday night, 69. And the high Friday, 98.
The heat wave's pretty much done now. If you're not careful, that thing's gonna turn into a parasail. Oh no! Yeah, problem solver. Ignore the dirt on my nose. Burn it down. I'll keep in mind that you changed your name. I like your profile picture now. I read about those trees. I want to do something just like that. You like all the improvised root cellars, though? You should see everything that I have buried out here and in all of the different places. I got things buried that I've probably forgotten that I have buried. Where's my eyebrow? I like your profile picture, too. Thanks for wishing me luck, man. The scrawl. I wholeheartedly believe you are 100% correct in saying that essentially the cause and effect of this whole pandemic will be a force to be reckoned with. Because living in a pile of sticks, warming your toes by a fire at night, and bathing in a creek will look a whole lot more enticing and a little less crazy. But, when you think about it, everybody's born with one foot in nature. Whether that be a desert or a forest or a beach, everybody's got that desire to go try themselves for a couple weeks on a desert island. Go make friends with a volleyball, catch some crabs. I got 1,000 subs on YouTube. I've never had 1,000 anything. Tasman. I'm calling base department on you guys for being so fucking cool to me. Masterful. I sure hope my path is righteous. Enrique, good vibes to you, man. The woods to Brazil. Break the system, make your own. Sean Flighty, it is comfy, bro, and even when it's not, it's worth every minute. The Non-27, I checked out Boards of Canada, and they're fucking good, man. Right up my alley, right up my creek bed. My favorite song was Roy G. Biv. I'll probably use that for something. It's definitely possible if you ever want to do something like this. And don't let anybody tell you it's not. Thanks for subscribing, see? Gay Hans, you like that, that quote? It was supposed to be, before I saw the lizards chasing each other, a quote from Jack London's story, Man on the Trail. The man on the trail this night. May his grub hold out. May his dogs keep their legs. May his matches never miss fire. Skegwine, I'm doing well, man. I hope you're doing well, too. And it is a bummer that I can't post on Lit anymore. I don't know why they suddenly banned, well, I mean, I know the reasons why they banned mobile IPs, but it sucks. I didn't realize that until I went to post, because I hadn't been posting on Lit in a long time. Oh, and I do have a PayPal somewhere, but I'll never post that, and I'll never monetize my channel or anything. You guys being here, that's currency enough for me. But you're fucking awesome. Subscribe to my OnlyFans. I'm just kidding. Genesis, thank you for wishing me luck, man. I need all the luck I can get. Steven Widdison, thank you, man. You take care of yourself out there. And I 100% agree. Society needs more people who reads Brothers Karamazov. Not only that, they need more people who read. Anthony Miggins, that freestyle that he did from jail was 100% garbanzo beans and 1000% not worth the collect call. Lautrec, you like me chasing that snake off? It was in my roof, and I heard it slithering around, and I saw the imprint of it. I took my broom and just went whoop and slid it and saw it come down out in front, and then I chased it down the hill. It had been in my roof last year, so I felt really bad about it. I had grown so attached to the mice that, you know, I didn't want to risk that. It's a shame that the wildlife can't get along with each other. Otherwise, I'd have this place Noah's Ark. Nathan, I'm glad you like the channel, man. I would love a goat. I would love all kinds of like livestock or anything, but the thing is, I would have to get it 15 miles up the highway with no car, and then I would have to get it through the forest up here. Survival bushcraft camping or something. I've thought about getting permethrin. I've thought about getting any kind of bug spray. But then when I get down there, in my head, I reason, oh, well, no, I've made it this far without it. And then I end up buying pickled sausage or some shit. But the bugs are real bad this year. I've gotten a tick in my armpit. I pulled a tick out of my armpit last night. Hopefully you can see it right there. It's a tick on my inner thigh, and the one on my inner thigh was a few inches away from being a nightmare, if you know what I mean. Now I'm gonna botch this name, but I think it's Deer Camp. It's in Russian. I tried my best. I used Google. I saw that thread, that TED thread that I was posted in, and I was going to reply. I had prepared a reply, and I was going to say, hey guys, no bombs here. But then I went and I tried to reply, and then it said mobile IPs are banned. I don't have a residential IP, so that was a super bummer. But Godspeed to you as well. The Mega Super Ultimate said, learn Russian, bruh. Not off the table yet. Life's not over with. Bandity 00. You can 100% do it, and it's possible. Go for it. I have faith in you, brother. Sprite Frog 0, it is comfy. I wish that all you guys were up here. ECHX, I think that's cool as fuck that this is inspiring to you. And always remember that I said it before, and I'll say it again, and I'll keep on saying it, but there's not one single way to do it. You do it however's comfortable with you, and you don't have to dive into it. You go as slow as you want, and you can take it minute by minute, inch by inch, bush by bush, and you know, you could spend a little bit of time outside just reading, and then from that point on, you know, you wait till the sun sets, go out in the woods, and then go home, and then from that point on, spend a few nights in the woods, and then before you know it, spend a week, and then you'll don't do exactly what I did, where I went off into the desert and almost killed myself. You can do it, and you can do it however you want to do it, as long as you're enjoying yourself, and as long as you're doing what you want to do, and as long as you're safe. And Picano, what did Picano say? Picano, I'm doing great, and I hope you're doing well too, man. Bijana Yadi, you're based. I remember in that thread that I had posted in January, somebody recommended Stranger in the Woods to me. And I had never read it, but I had always wanted to. And I looked around for it and could never find it. The used bookstore finally had it when I went back down. I read it, and it's a great book. I didn't realize how similar I am to this guy as far as the things that I do, and just listening to the radio and reading all the time. And sorry, it's real windy and bouncy. I saw in that one thread that the person made about me, I saw that one guy was like, he has a cameraman? No, I don't have a cameraman, dude. This is a horse hobble I took off one of the ranches I worked on. And I hang my phone in it. But anyway, I finally read Stranger in the Woods, and it's funny because this hermit is totally a lit bro. You know, he would fit in so well on lit. But he's talking about the guy, his reading choices. But this is the funny part. He pilfered a copy of Ulysses, but it was possibly the one book he did not finish. What's the point of it? I suspected a bit of a joke by Joyce. He just kept his mouth shut as people read into it more than there was. Pseudo-intellectuals love to drop the name Ulysses as their favorite book. I refuse to be intellectually bullied into finishing it. And then it goes on to, Knight's disdain for Thoreau was bottomless. He had no deep insight into nature. But Ralph Waldo Emerson was acceptable. The author goes into quoting Emerson saying people are to be taken in very small doses. But, you know, I like Thoreau, but I do agree with the Hermit. Romanticizing nature too much, it's harsh, it's rough. Nature is brutal. And in John Muir's book, Story of My Boyhood and Youth, he actually says at one part that he's surprised that one could walk through the mountains and the forests for a year without seeing a single drop of blood, because accidents happen to animals, and they're much more common than people think. And then he goes on to talk about birds getting tangled in the hairs of their nests and dying, and it's rough. I've seen things that I don't even want to get into because it would just make this whole video a bummer. And in here, the Hermit actually says something along the lines of nature is a constant battle where everyone loses. And that is very, very true. It's sad, man. That reminds me, I wanted to tell you guys my favorite Emerson quote. I remember it by heart because I love it so much. The quote goes, all that Adam had and all that Caesar could, you have and can do. Adam called his house heaven and earth. Caesar called his house Rome. You may call yours a cobbler's trade, 100 acres of plowed land, or a scholar's garret. But line for line and point for point, your dominion is as great as theirs. Build, therefore, your own world. I love that. That's one of my favorite quotes. I love it so much that I remember it by heart, and I probably will never forget it. Whoa. Try and keep this short. I'm unable to post on Lit, but I'm watching the board, and on a few separate occasions I've seen people make threads requesting for books that are either about seafaring or have just the ocean as a general setting. And in none of those threads I saw it recommended, but a book that, for me, it's not only about the ocean and seafaring, but it'll make you thankful to be alive. Make you find a will to live that you didn't even know you had. And if it does none of that, it'll make your food taste better and the air seem sweeter. But In the Heart of the Sea, I know most of you, probably all of you, have already read it. It's about the whale ship Essex, which is the ship that inspired Moby Dick, basically. The ship that got attacked by a whale and sunk, and the guys ended up getting out on the little boats and going out into the ocean and basically starving and resorting to cannibalism. If you haven't read the book, you probably definitely already know that story, so I won't really get too much into it. But if you want something about survival too, this is, you know, usually you think of survival stories as like Lost in the Wilderness or in the desert and everything, which I fall into the trap of thinking a lot too, but survival comes in many forms, and this is sure as hell is one of them. Ships getting attacked by whales, that was completely unheard of. This author took first-hand accounts from the rescuers and written narratives from the crew. Such a great job of weaving them all together, and as he does it, he references other survival stories in modern times. It gets into the science of what happens when your body doesn't get enough this, what happens when you get too much of that. And this is written is real funny because you picture these guys, you know, this thing just attacking them and everybody just getting quiet and looking at each other like, what the fuck just happened? It was a whale, a huge sperm whale, the largest they'd seen so far. A male about 85 feet long, they estimated, and approximately 80 tons. It was less than 100 yards away, so close that they could see its giant blunt head was etched with scars, and that it was pointed toward the ship. But this whale wasn't just large, it was acting strangely. Instead of fleeing in panic, it was floating quietly on the surface of the water, puffing occasionally through its blowhole as if it were watching them. After spouting 2 or 3 times, the whale dove, then surfaced less than 35 yards from the ship. Even with the whale just a stone's throw from the Essex, Chase did not see it as a threat. His appearance and attitude gave us at first no alarm, he wrote. But suddenly the whale began to move, its 25-foot wide tail pumped up and down, slowly at first, with a slight side-to-side waggle. It picked up speed until the water crested around its massive barrel-shaped head. It was aimed at the Essex port side. In an instant, the whale was only a few yards away. In desperate hopes of avoiding a direct hit, Chase shouted to Nickerson, "Put the helm hard up." Several other crew members cried out warnings. Scarcely had the sound of the voices reached my ears, Nickerson remembered, when it was followed by a tremendous crash. The whale rammed the ship just forward of the forechains. The Essex shook as if it had struck a rock. Every man was knocked off his feet. Galapagos tortoises went skittering across the deck. We looked at each other with perfect amazement, Chase recalled, deprived almost of the power of speech. As they pulled themselves up off the deck, Chase and his men had good reason to be amazed. Never before in the entire history of Nantucket whale fishery had a whale been known to attack a ship. In 1807, the whale ship Union had accidentally plowed into a sperm whale at night and sunk, but something very different was happening here. If you haven't read it, there's just a little taste. And if you ever see anybody on Lit asking for recommendations on books that are about the ocean or seafaring or just basically voyages in general, recommend them In the Heart of the Sea, because I wanted to, and I wasn't able. But I think that's a book that gets forgotten about. But it's a good book. Highly recommend it. And you learn a lot from it, too. I finished a book last week that was a great book and very well written. It's called Of Herds and Hermits, America's Lone Wolves and Submissive Sheep, or the American Intellectual as Loner and Outcast. Of Herds and Hermits was a really great book. It basically covers lone, isolated, solitary intellectuals like authors and scientists who created some of the most important contributions to the human race, and how had they have been the type of people who were susceptible to getting swept up into the crowd, or if there had been external influences on their thought process and their creative process, they wouldn't have been able to create these things. It went into things as little as atoms all the way up to things as big as galaxies, like lone galaxies producing the most stars, and it even covered species in the animal kingdom that were solitary, and certain insects like desert tortoises and certain bees. One of the things that I did a lot when I was younger was look up animals and insects and even plants that were solitary compared to other animals and plants. Stink bugs, pinnacate beetles, the clown beetles, and wolf spiders, and certain medicinal plants that are beneficial, that actually release chemicals into the soil around them to prevent other plants from growing and competing. And I would have loved to meet that guy and been like, hey, I got some ideas for you. It goes into censorship too, and how censorship is basically a group censoring certain things and ideas that this group doesn't want an individual to learn on their own time and go through their own process of learning and discovering. It quotes Emerson a lot, it quotes Thoreau a lot, shit, about every author you could think of. The universities and bureaucracies. I'm a huge fan of that book now. I highly, highly recommend it. If you're a loner like me, you'll like that book. That's a book that's in defense of us. It talks about how loners are stigmatized. The kids, when they're little, who want to go off and play by themselves are the ones that the parents and the experts are usually worried about, how they discourage activity like that. Great book, and I was extremely surprised at how unpopular that book is. And and as far as stink bugs are one of my favorite bugs. Beetles. They call them clown beetles because they stand on their heads and wave their legs in the air as they spray their stink. What made them one of my favorite bugs was I was reading an article once that the way they phrased it was hilarious. It said, stink bugs, pinnacate beetles, often encountered seemingly wandering aimlessly at random. I'm always wandering aimlessly at random. Alright, whatever it was that ate my coffee creamer that one night was definitely not a pack rat, because I got one of my food caches dug up. Look at that. Look at what he did to this can of Spam. Yeah, that's definitely a bear. My milk, honey and cheese, broke my flour, ate my peanut butter. That's a baby. Yeah, he's so little, he's just not even biting at me. Get on down there. hope you heard that. There's a bunch of mice fighting. You be good. You behave. I'm going to bed. Good night, lit bros.